Hello, good people of YouTube. Mountbatten here. And today we have the brand new Tier 7 Premium French Cruiser, the Toulon, in port to review for you guys today. This review is made possible by the generous donations of the channel's Patreons. These guys, whose names should be coming up on screen right now, make these ship reviews possible. It is the best way to support the channel besides, of course, just watching the videos and streams. If you wish to contribute in that way, link to that is in the description down below. So again, massive shout out to these guys for making this review possible. And the Toulon Tier 7, essentially, it's not really, honestly, that much different from the Techline ships so far, except that it's missing one consumable that those ships do get. But she looks absolutely fantastic. Shout out to the art and modeling department as always. Lots of little details on this ship. It's always very nice to see their work in its full glory like this. Alright, so the Toulon. Let me actually finish removing the signal flags here. Now, yes, I did actually play this ship before I sat down to do this review, but it was on stream last night. If you guys aren't aware, I've moved to my summer streaming schedule, which means I'm streaming on 2 nights now. Tuesdays and Fridays. It was originally Wednesdays and Fridays, but I moved it back Tuesdays and Fridays because that fits better with my real life schedule and such. So, the Toulon. This is a ship that packs quite a punch, I can tell you that from playing her already. Now, sadly, currently she's only available in the random bundles in the Armory, the same random bundles you have to get through if you were trying to get the breast. Now, from what I've seen, actually quite a few players have picked up the Toulon already, and fairly early on too. I would like to imagine that she eventually will be available outright to buy. I don't see why they would make this ship, put it in the random bundles, and not eventually sell it outright for cash. But we will see. So let's go over the ship, shall we? Now, my commander and modules have been equipped, and like you guys just saw too, I took all the signal flags off. So this is the ship completely bone stock. She has a 16mm bow, complemented by a 16mm stern. Her upper belt armor is 25mm. Her main belt is 170, and below that you have a 160mm strip, and then below that the torpedo protection is 25mm. Stern and bow deck are 16, mid deck is 30. You take away all that armor, and there's your citadel. It is a little bit above the waterline, however, you do have this turtleback that drops down to protect it. So you have a tough little cruiser right here. 170mm main belt. That's pretty nice at Tier 7. Now, the bow and stern is of course only 16, so you can't really bow tank, but just like the Techline ships, despite their turret setup, these are not bow tanking cruisers. Survivability, she has 42,500 hit points and a 25% torpedo damage reduction. Her main guns, she has 8 305mm guns in quad turret setups. Very, very, very French setup here. And these guns have a reload time of 28 seconds base, 180 time of 40 seconds, maximum dispersion of 189 meters, and a maximum range of 16.8 kilometers. Her HE does a maximum damage of 4,050. She has a 17% chance of causing a fire on target per shell. HE can pin 51mm of armor, and they come out the tubes at 905 meters a second, so some very, very fast HE here. Her AP is no slouch either. Maximum damage of 8,000. Come out the tubes at 798 meters a second, which is very much on the fast side by Tier 7 standards. Her secondary, she gets 6x2 100mm guns. They reload in 4 seconds. They have a range of 6.3 kilometers. Their HE does a maximum damage of 1,400. They have a 6% chance of causing a fire on the target, 17mm armor penetration, and they come out the tubes at 780 meters a second. And then she gets 6 155mm guns in the back. These have a reload time of 9 seconds, have a maximum range of 6.3 kilometers, 2,200 maximum damage, 11% chance of causing a fire on the target, 26mm of pin, which is very nice at Tier 7, and their shells come out the tubes at 870 meters a second. She does get an airstrike. She gets 1 flight. Her AA has a rating of 55, and I can tell you it's pretty much worthless. There's really not much to talk about there. CVs will and can have their way with you. Maximum base speed of 30 knots, a turning circle radius of 710 meters, and a rudder shift time of 11.5 seconds. For her concealment, she has a base range of 11.2 kilometers, which is actually pretty nice base. Now, she's already looking like a pretty solid ship just on that as well. 305mm guns at Tier 7. Those are some massive guns on a cruiser at Tier 7. You can, of course, run into battleships that still have very similar caliber guns, being a Tier 7 ship. So it gets really good when you go into her consumables. She gets a heal. This is a Tier 7 cruiser with a heal. Repairs 212 HP per second, is active for 28 seconds, and reloads in 80 seconds. And you get 3 charges of that base. You also get a fighter, which is active for 60 seconds. You get 3 flights of that, flies around your ship in a 3-kilometer radius, and reloads in 90 seconds. And of course, you get the engine boost, active for 180 seconds. Very nice. Gives you a 20% boost to your maximum speed, 3 charges base, reloads in 90 seconds. And your choice of DFAA or Hydro. Hydro goes out to 4 kilometers. And of course, you get your damage con as well. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and kit this ship out in the configuration I had it when I was playing her on stream, and thereafter, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so, for the modules, I went with main armaments mod 1 because the guns, the main battery guns, are of course your primary source of damage on the ship, so you want to be in that fight as long as possible, and if one gets knocked down, you're losing half of your firepower. Then I went with Damage Con mod 1. This ship does get the battleship burn time, so fires are very bad, so you want to cut that down as much as you can. Then I went with Aiming Systems mod 1 to rein in that dispersion a little bit more. And then I went with Propulsion mod 1 to make this ship a very zippy ship from starting and stopping. Now, you could absolutely take Damage Con mod 2. That will cut your burn time down because, again, it gets a long duration burn time and you really don't want that going on for as long as you can help it. But if you can avoid getting hit, that's also another good way to avoid those fires. And I do take Hydro over DFAA because the AA is so low, and yes, this does make it good for, the 40 seconds it's active, but Hydro, again, it's just such a useful tool. For the commander's skills, I do have Avignon on here. I went with Last Stand to keep our rudder and engine in the fight because I found that this ship does get its engine knocked out quite a bit. Went with Gun Feeder to reduce the time between switching between AP and HE. Then Grease the Gears because that 40-second rotation time is a little long for a cruiser, even though it does have massive guns, so we want to get that down as much as possible. Demolition Expert because I had an extra point laying around after this build. AR because, I took this because I need to get down to the 3-point skills, and, might as well take Demolition Expert. Went with AR because you take damage, you get a quicker reload out of it, something for getting damage. Heavy AP shells, that increases the damage on the AP by 5%, and that's literally free damage. Why not take it? Superintendent for an extra charge of the engine boost and the heal, mainly what I was worried about, and of course the extra charge of the Hydro and Fighter. And then Survivability Expert for more HP, and then Concealment Expert to make our ship really stealthy. So we now have a Tier 7 cruiser with, 46,000 flat health. The guns now 180 and 34.8 seconds, which is much nicer. Have a maximum dispersion of 176 meters, which is very nice. The HE now has an 18% chance of causing a fire on the target with the flags and the commander skill. And the AP now does a maximum damage rating of 8,400. And the ship is now detected at 10.1 kilometers. That's great. And her speed with the flag on is 31.5 knots. With the engine boost active, you go 37.5 knots in this ship, which is absolutely mental to me. Alright, I do believe that's everything we need to go over with the commander skills. Yep. So I'm going to go ahead and take her into battle and meet you guys there for a voiceover review. Hey guys, SealordMountbatten here. And well, the Toulon, this is quite a surprise. I thought this was just going to be a kind of mediocre ship since she was being given away in the random bundle. Well, not really given away, but she was being offered in the random bundles if you want to get Brest. And judging again by the amount of players that seem to get her quite early on, it seemed like she was going to be kind of a mediocre ship, but she is not. This is an awesome little cruiser. Her guns are so good. They're, in fact, probably a little bit too good because you will find yourself getting a lot of overpinned with these 305mm guns. I was finding I would shoot the belt armor on cruisers at not even like point blank range, but like 10, 12 kilometers away, and you're still overpinning their Citadel armor. The trick is, of course, just like the Romo or any other hypervelocity AP shells, you want to get them when they're angled. Now, speaking about the velocity on these shells, it's not like they're in that mid 800 range like some of the higher tier hypervelocity ships are. So the ships like the French battleships, French cruisers, Italian battleships and cruisers with those shells that hit way harder than they should because of how fast they're going. It is kind of on the slower side, but you have to remember too, these are 305mm guns shooting at low tier cruisers, so naturally you are going to overpin. But good God, help any cruiser that angles to you, because you are going to slap the ever-living crap out of them. There's quite a few cruisers that you will see that you can overmatch with your 305mm guns, and that is great to have in a ship. Now, of course, too, like I said, it does lead to some frustrating moments when you do overpin ships, which you are going to get a fair amount of overpins in this thing. But its HE is also quite good as well. 18% fire chance on 8 shells that are fairly accurate. These guns, make no mistake, are pretty accurate guns, especially on a tier 7 ship, especially given their caliber. So you will be consistently landing HE shells on whatever it is that you're shooting at. Not to mention, too, that the HE is traveling at 905 meters a second, which means they're great for dealing with DDs. God help any DD that eats a full salvo of your HE. It's probably going to either be essentially combat ineffective for the rest of the match, or you're going to one-shot him. It is that good, especially when you run into some of these tier 5, tier 6, and tier 7 DDs. Good God. Now, the turret traverse is a little bit slow, especially for how maneuverable this ship is, so that is something that's a little frustrating. And the reload time, 28 seconds, I completely understand why, of course, this ship is limited to that reload time without a reload booster, because good God, you would be insanely overpowered if this ship had a reload booster, but she doesn't. So that's kind of keeping her in check right here. Like I said in the review, AA is not really worth mentioning. It's not great at all. Her maneuverability, 37.5 knots top speed on the ship, with 11.5 second rudder shift time. While not as crazy maneuverable as something like the Brest is, this is a very fast cruiser that you can throttle juke with very easily with the propulsion mod. It's so easy to just come to a dead stop in the ship and then zoop off again. It's great for that. You can be throttle juking for days, which is something that you definitely need to get good at, because the ship's armor, while against other cruisers it's quite good, against battleships you're going to get chunked quite a bit if you let them hit you. You can see in this replay in the background, I was being a little cheeky with the Colorado, New Mexico later in the game, and they landed some pretty big hits on me. They didn't set it on me, thank God, but they chunked me pretty good. So obviously with the engine boost going and the mod on, you'll be juking shells all day. And the turret angles, they're not the best, but given how maneuverable this ship is, it's nothing to snap real quick to the proper angle that you need to get those turrets firing over your shoulder and at your target. So she's great for that, and couple that with the 10.1 kilometer concealment. Oh my God, it's so great. Again, like I've mentioned on any ship that has a good concealment rating, it's so great to be able to dictate the terms of your engagement, especially with a ship this fast and this agile, that you can just be like, yeah, no, I don't want to be here anymore, drive off for a little bit, and then you're undetected. She's so great for that. So this is an excellent, well, French cruiser, French battle cruiser like we're getting in the new tech line. It doesn't really seem to be that different for being a premium. I know a lot of times when they were releasing these new tech lines, they like to introduce a ship that's a little bit different than the new tech line. Like the Chikhalov. Chikhalov didn't have the rocket planes like the rest of the Soviet CVs did. She had normal bombers, and then we had the FR-25, which was this weird monstrosity between the French and Italian DDs. But Toulon here seems to just be a French battle cruiser. except it doesn't have the reload booster, which again is completely understandable given how accurate and how good these guns are. But yes, this is a ship I would definitely pick up once it leaves the random bundles. I don't know, I haven't read anywhere that it is for sure coming into the armory or to the premium shop after the event ends. I would imagine so. I mean, Wargaming likes to make money, and why not sell the ship afterwards for, you know, a normal tier 7 cruiser price, so I'd imagine it'd be around $30. This is a very good ship too for a French battlecruiser commander trainer. You're going to be building to the same skills in the Toulon here that you're going to use on your higher tier French battlecruisers. I mean, Avignon here is literally what I spec'd into Brest with, and I've been using him on Brest for the past week or so, and been doing great with this build on Brest. So, I mean, yeah, if you're looking for a French battlecruiser commander trainer, or even a French cruiser trainer, this is a pretty good option. And this is a ship that can see tier 9 games, and I think she does pretty decently well. I only had one game at tier 9 when I was playing this ship for the review, but given how agile this ship is, how big the guns are, how good the HE and AP is, she doesn't have much issues playing in tier 9 games at all, as long as you're good at dodging, which of course does take some time to get used to, but that engine boost really helps you be an annoying little ship. So overall, I would give the Toulon an 8 out of 10. High points being its large caliber guns, ability to overmatch quite a few cruisers at its tier. Excellent AP, hits very hard, excellent HE, high velocity, easy to aim at, destroyers and such, very maneuverable ship. Engine boost is great on this ship. You get Hydro 2 in there as well, or your choice of DFAA. The only downsides of the ship would be the sluggish turret rotation time that can't really keep up with how quick the ship can maneuver, and the lack of a main battery reload booster. Oh, and you are going to get chunked by battleships due to the armor on the ship, but again, use the pros of the ship, use that maneuverability, use that speed boost, use that excellent acceleration, deceleration with the propulsion mod on. You won't have much trouble dodging those shells. So again, when the ship leaves the random bundles, definitely pick it up. Or if it's like the 5th package you got on the random bundles, it's definitely worth the, what's it, 1,000, 1,200 doubloons to pick up. Definitely worth it in my opinion. So guys, let me know what you guys think about the Toulon in the comments down below. Hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday and having a wonderful week. And I hope to catch you guys in the next one.